All right, we're going to go ahead and call the January Planning Commission meeting to order. We'll go ahead and start off with our normal housekeeping items here of Commissioner Black. Will you want to take the roll for us, please?
Miller.
Here.
Choate. Here. Black. Here. Monty. Hadley. Here. Duffield. Here. Mitchell. Here. Coffee. Clear.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Okay. We have a quorum.
We do have a quorum. All right. Everybody had an opportunity to look over the minutes from last year, or the meeting from December. What's your pleasure?
Approve as submitted.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second? We have a second to approve the minutes from the December meeting. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right, we don't have any old business. We have new. We have rezoning a property at R1 Single Family Residential to C2 Highway Commercial, located at 503 East Aspen Lane, submitted by Derek Brown on behalf of Gary Scarborough. You have a staff report on that for us, Gavin?
Yes, sir, we do. So this first item is a rezoning at 503 East Aspen Lane. Currently, the existing conditions are that this property has previously served as an auxiliary church office, though the property owner is not the same as the owner for the adjacent church. These offices may have been utilized as housing at one point in time. This location is currently bordered by C2 Highway Commercial to the west, northwest, and southwest, and R1 single-family residential in all other directions. To the north is a residential neighborhood that is predominantly single-family housing. Russellville Seventh-day Adventist Church is immediately adjacent to the east, and RDOT District 8 headquarters are located on the opposite side of Aspen Lane to the south. Catty corner to the southwest of the property in question is American Homes of Russellville, a mobile manufactured homes retailer. Immediately west of the property are several large cleared parcels of land that are owned by Baptist Health. The applicant is requesting this change to the zone map be made to operate a counseling office that works directly with the Arkansas Baptist Church. Because these services would be extended to non-church members, and due to the fact that the owners of the adjacent church and these offices are not the same, it cannot be considered a peripheral use of the church. The use, office, medical, or professional is not permissible in the R1 zone. This parcel of land, however, is designated as suburban center in the Reimagine Russellville 2040 comprehensive plan. The recommended zone for suburban center is C3 large scale and shopping center commercial. However, C2 highway commercial could be a suitable transition for the area since the density in the area is currently low and would avoid complications that may arise from spot zoning. When considering a zone map adjustment, careful consideration needs to be made in regards to the future and current land use of the area, the comprehensive plan recommendations, and that the request is not based exclusively upon a desire to increase the value or income potential of the property. Future and current land uses of the area. The property may have been used as a residential dwelling or other offices at one time, but it is not currently and may not have been for some time, as it appears to have been built as a duplex, which would not be permitted in this zone. During technical review, the applicant stated that the building was constructed in the 1980s and has been utilized as offices periodically since then. The existing commercial establishments to the west of the property reinforce the commercial nature of this part of the city. A hotel, outpatient clinic, and manufactured homes retailer are larger, more intense uses in close proximity, and government offices, RDOT, across the street from the property in question would mirror the applicant's intended use and serve as a transitional area where intensity tapers off for becoming rural residential uses outside of the city limits, an M2 industrial campus further to the southeast. Zoning as C2 highway commercial would be more suitable than C3 large scale and shopping center commercial at this time due to the fact that the stated use, office, medical, or professional, does not require this zone to be able to operate, and therefore spot zoning would not be recommended, even if it more closely matches the suburban center description. C2 highway commercial zoning would more closely match the current surrounding land use pattern. Reimagine Russellville 2040 comp plan. This particular piece of property is situated in a transitional area per the Reimagine Russellville 2040 comp plan, where suburban center transitions into institutional campus, i.e. the Russellville Seventh-day Adventist Church, which then in turn will give way to larger residential tracts to the north, suburban multifamily, that will be serviced by the commercial zones. Much of East Aspen Lane is slated for this kind of commercial corridor in the comprehensive plan. As stated previously, Suburban Center does not necessarily recommend C2 highway commercial, but instead C3 large-scale and shopping center commercial. While C3 would remain the long-term target of this area per the comp plan, zoning this parcel C2 highway commercial would ostensibly encourage further commercial development along this corridor until C3 large-scale and shopping center commercial zoning makes more sense for this area. Finally, value or income potential of the property. While changing a property from a residential zone to a commercial zone typically increases property value by virtue of potential future uses, the applicant does not have the same vested interest in the property itself as they are not the property owner. The applicant's request is considered recommendable by staff primarily due to the fact that the adjacent C2 zone would be more in line with the comprehensive plan than the current zone. Not solely because the applicant would like to use the property for business purposes. Though the property would be generating income through its use, the structure that is currently on the property is not intended for the current zoning as it is a duplex within an R1 zone. Therefore, staff recommends that the commission forward this application to the City Council for approval to rezone the property from R1 single-family residential to C2 highway commercial as a result of the findings below. 1, the application is in line with the existing and future land uses within the area, suburban center. 2, the proposal aligns with the Reimagine Russellville 2040 comprehensive plan. And 3, rezoning to the C2 zone appears to be appropriate and aligns with the vision outlined in the 2040 comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for staff?
Yes, how does it affect these addresses within 200 feet, the residential people?
Sure, so the residential zone to the north and the northeast from the property in question, by the nature of it becoming C2, if there is future development of the property, it would require screening, appropriate screening in line with the zoning code. This could be either privacy fence or sufficient vegetation to kind of create a buffer between the residential uses and the commercial uses.
Anybody have any questions for Gavin? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, commissioners, what's your pleasure on this one?
Motion to send it to planning, or the city council as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second? We got 2 seconds. All right. All those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. Okay. All right, item number 2. Rezone a property from R2 medium density residential to C4 neighborhood and quiet business located at 800 Williamson Way, submitted by Ashton Smith on behalf of Christian and Missionary Alliance. You have a staff report for us on that?
Yes. So as stated, this is another rezoning application. Pardon me. This request is at 800 Williamson Way, and it is a request to go from R2, which is medium density residential, to C4 neighborhood and quiet business. The existing conditions are that this location is an existing site of Christian and Missionary Alliance Church. It is located within the Oakland neighborhood. This R2 medium density residential property is bordered by C4 to the south. Properties to the north and west are R2, and the property to the east is zoned C2 highway commercial. This property is requesting to rezone to C4. Properties within this area include 2 other places of worship, a mixture of single-family and duplex dwellings, and the Boys and Girls Club. So Gavin kind of laid it out in his presentation that we have 3 items that we kind of look at when we look at a rezoning, and the first of those is the future and current land uses of the area. To the east, there is a large area of vacant C2, which you can see up on your screen there, highlighted in kind of that reddish-orangish color. And with the potential for commercial development along this corner of Williamson Way and South Knoxville Avenue. Although the western end of Williamson Way is primarily residential in nature, this eastern end serves as a transitional area to the C2 highway commercial zoned area that extends onto South Knoxville Avenue and East 16th Street. As this is located just west of the commercial corridor at East 16th and South Knoxville, where there are several businesses, including a car wash, several auto-oriented businesses, including repair garages and a gas station, food trucks, a storage facility, and a pediatric occupational therapy facility. Given the proximity to the commercial corridor along South Knoxville and East 16th to the north of this location, rezoning to C4 neighborhood and quiet business is in alignment with the current and future land uses in the area. We do have to consider the Reimagine Russellville 2040 comprehensive plan as a guide for decision making. It does define this area with a mixture of future land uses, including institutional campus, suburban multifamily, and suburban corridor. The subject property in question falls into the institutional campus area. These are areas that include office complexes, college campuses, large public schools, and religious land use types. The only related zoning listed in the comprehensive plan for institutional campus is the El Paso University zones, which are the College Hill, Prairie Creek, and Downtown Crossing zones. This is definitely something staff noted when we were going through this staff report as something that we're definitely going to need to update in the comprehensive plan, as not all institutional campuses within the city fall within that area that is appropriate for the El Paso University zoning. So these zones are only permitted in the areas surrounding Arkansas Tech University. However, they are commercial or mixed use in nature. So staff does concur that rezoning to neighborhood and quiet business would be in line with the comprehensive plan, as it is also a commercial or mixed use zone in nature. Third and finally, the value or income potential of the property. Transitioning from R2 medium high density residential to C4 neighborhood and quiet business typically does increase a property value. However, the intention of this rezoning is not to sell the property. The property owner has requested this zone map amendment in order to obtain a digital sign via special use permit at this location. That is something that you'll see coming in the next few months down the pipeline, that they are requesting this rezoning in order to be able to obtain that special use permit. Therefore, the potential increase in property value is not the intent of the rezoning. Additionally, due to this corridor's nature serving as a transition into a more intense commercial development, residential development may not be the highest and best use of the property. As a result, rezoning to C4 neighborhood and quiet business is appropriate and is in line with the 2040 comprehensive plan. It is staff's recommendation that the commission forward this application to the City Council for approval to rezone the property from R2 medium density residential to C4 neighborhood and quiet business. As a result of the findings below, the application is in line with existing and future land uses in the area. The proposal aligns with the Reimagine Russellville 2040 comp plan, and rezoning to C4 appears to be appropriate and aligns with the visions outlined in the 2040 comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for staff?
Does this include, I'm looking at this page right here, that little notch that's out of that other one?
It does not. So it is, oh, can you throw, there we go. I'm pointing at myself there for a second. It is just the yellow box there. So that will kind of be an enclave. I'm not 100% sure who owns that property. It's not currently developed as far as I know. There are residential properties to the south, but I don't believe that is part of that. So, no clue. Unfortunately, I would assume that larger C2 tract was rezoned and there was a separate owner for that, so that was not done at that point in time, would be my understanding. So, any other questions?
Has anyone contacted you in opposition to this zoning rezoning?
Yeah, so we did have one of the houses, if you want to throw that up one more time for me, to the south here, that little residential enclave, there's a little house right there, and we did have them reach out to us. Once we explained kind of what their intent was, they had no issues. I did invite them to the meeting if they had any questions or anything like that. But once they understood that the church was still going to be the church there and it wasn't changing the use, they were just looking for that digital sign eventually, they were completely fine with it. And that was the only person that did reach out to us about it. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ashton, do you have anything you wanted to add, or now what about you, Pastor? Okay. All right. Okay. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve as requested. All those in favor acknowledge by saying aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. All right. Item number 3. Vacation of North Jackson Avenue, right-of-way adjacent to lots 7 and 12, Block 88 of J.L. Shen subdivision, or J.L. Shen addition, rather, submitted by Barrett and Associates on behalf of Clarence Harbor and Armando Cienfuegos. Did I say that right? Okay, all right. Do you have a staff report for us on that?
Yes, sir. Like you said, this is a vacation of right-of-way for a portion, I believe the 500 block of North Jackson Avenue adjacent to 1001 East E Street. Currently, this section of North Jackson Avenue only features a gravel drive that leads to the parking lot of an apartment complex owned by Mr. Harbor that is currently being developed on lots 10 through 12 of Block 88. There's also a chain link fence along the lot line of lot 7 of Block 89 that belongs to Mr. Cienfuegos. A drainage ditch runs perpendicular to East E Street towards the back of Lot 12 of Block 88 and under a gravel drive. This property is zoned R2 medium density residential, with all surrounding properties zoned R2 medium density residential. This is primarily a mixed residential community with single family and duplex dwellings. However, there are also various businesses within a C4 neighborhood and quiet business corridor along East Parkway Drive, a block south. Immediately to the north of this section of North Jackson Avenue is a closed right-of-way that abuts East F Street, which was closed via Ordinance 2383 on January 1st, 2021. Catty-corner to this section of North Jackson Avenue to the southwest is Vic Field. When considering a vacation of right-of-way, the items that need to be considered are public trust, or any effects to public trust, effects to land use, and public benefit. What is the impact of the proposed vacation upon the public trust functions of the right-of-way? Does the vacation impair circulation, access, utilities, open space, and/or views? This proposal seeks to vacate a 140-foot by 80-foot section of North Jackson Avenue that is currently minimally improved and has no through access to East F Street. The section of North Jackson Avenue immediately north of this proposed vacation has been vacated since January of 2021. During a site visit, the existing gravel drive was being utilized as an access to the existing drainage ditch and as a back access for garbage collection for the developing apartments. The total area to be vacated is approximately 11,200 square feet, to be split evenly between Mr. Harbor and Mr. Cienfuegos. There is nothing currently proposed within the area being vacated. However, access to the ditch by maintenance crews could be inhibited without a sufficient access easement being put in place. 2, what are the land use impacts regarding the vacation of the right-of-way? The impact is that the adjacent property owners, Mr. Harbor and Mr. Cienfuegos, will evenly split the vacated section of North Jackson Avenue and bear responsibility for the maintenance and improvement of the vacated area. There is no current use of this area beyond a gravel section of North Jackson Avenue that leads into an existing parking area for lots 10 through 12 of Block 88 and as a ditch access for maintenance crews. Staff noted in the submittal letter, that the applicant stated that the additional area vacated to Mr. Harbor could be made into additional parking for the developing property. However, during a technical review meeting, the applicant stated that this would not be the case and that there is no plan to add an off-street parking lot. Applicant did note during the technical review meeting that the gravel driveway may be paved as a part of the access easement. There is currently a chain link fence on Mr. Cienfuegos' side of the vacation that would then fall on his property and can be maintained by the property owner. Drainage should not be compromised in the development of Mr. Harbor's side of the vacation, and so a drainage and access easements, should be established to prevent this. Finally, what public benefit is received by vacating the right-of-way? Retaining both drainage and access easements is in the best interests of the public benefit, and the vacation of the minimally improved section of this road with no through passage shall transfer maintenance of the land to the adjacent property owners. Therefore, staff recommends forwarding this application to City Council for approval to vacate a 140-foot section of the 80-foot right-of-way of North Jackson Avenue adjacent to Lot 12 of Block 88 and Lot 7 of Block 89 within the J.L. Shin addition with the following condition. A 10-foot drainage easement is provided and the applicant works directly with city engineers to verify sufficiency of the easement and represent it appropriately on any future surveys. A 20-foot access easement east of the proposed drainage easement will be provided for maintenance of the drainage ditch, and the applicant works directly with city engineers to verify sufficiency of the easement and represent it appropriately on future surveys. The existing gravel section of North Jackson Avenue is to be made into a paved access. As a result of the findings below, there is not an impact to the public trust, land use, or effects to the public benefit, and no letters from utility companies provided by applicant releasing use of the area to be vacated. Are there any questions for staff?
Thank you, Gavin.
Thank you.
Dave, you got anything you want to add? No. Okay. Anybody have any questions for Gavin or for Mr. Garza? Go ahead.
Sorry, I would like to note that staff engineer Sawyer Shannon is here also, in case there are any engineering questions that the commission might have.
Okay.
I do have one question for you. You said the maintenance would be transferred to the homeowners, but then said we're maintaining a easement to maintain a ditch. Would that not be their ditch to maintain?
Well, I can see that. The access to the drainage ditch would still be necessary for maintenance crews in the event of, I would assume, any kind of blockage that might cause flooding downstream somewhere or something to that effect. There are still portion of the property that would still need to be maintained by the property owner, but yes, a lot of that would end up being access easement and a drainage easement. Now, that's on the west half of the vacation. On the east half of the vacation, it would mostly fall outside of that easement zone and would be maintained kind of as an extension of Mr. Cienfuegos' yard.
Okay, I just get clear.
Yep, of course. Anything else?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
For the record, David Garza with Barrett and Associates. So the closure that was done in 21, the drainage easement is 15 feet. So we're going to change that drainage easement south to align with that same as 15 feet. So what we're proposing is 15 and 15. So it'll be 15-foot drainage easement and then 15-foot access easement. That'll give them the whole 30 feet that they were requesting. But we wanted to, just to keep it the same as what was north. So that's all you're after. This is a 15-foot according to the 21. That's what our. No, the drainage.
The drainage is attached. Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
it was gonna be a 10 after 15.
Okay, I'm with you.
And then the access instead of 20 and 15.
Gotcha.
So again, I'm Sawyer Shannon, Public Works Staff Engineer. And it was outlined in the draft, a 10-foot easement, It was the last draft that I had reviewed. And since then, apparently, we have now a 15-foot drainage easement and a 15-foot access easement, which is in line with what's currently on, or in the right-of-way. So that's pretty much a map of what we use. The drainage easement will be used we just maintain flow, and the access easement will be just what it sounds like. It's just for us to access the drainage. We've recently replaced the culvert on this gravel drive, so probably no needed maintenance soon, but yes, that aligns with what we need.
All
I'd
right.
like to make a motion to approve the proposed request with the revisions as stipulated by Mr. Garza and as noted by Mr. Sawyer on the 15-foot drainage and 15-foot access, is that correct? Right. Okay.
Okay. That was it. Okay, we have a motion and a second. You got all that down? All right, all those in favor, acknowledge by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. All right, and if there is no other business, we are adjourned.